All right, I'd like to call the December meeting of the library board to order at 7:02 p.m. At this time, I'll do a roll call. Mark? Here. Michelle?
Here.
John? Here. Tony?
Here.
Tim Smith is here. And Ron? Here, present. And Heidi is not currently here. So we do have a quorum. At this time, we will do the pledge.
Can we get a motion to receive? To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Appreciate that. This time I'll take a motion to approve or amend the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as is.
Second. Mark seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. And that motion carries. And now I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented and affirm the decision.
I'll second that. Okay. Thank you. Any discussion about the consent agenda? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. That carries.
Did you want a motion to excuse Heidi?
If she's not here by the end of committee reports, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go to director's report, please.
So, this one was really short because I didn't have a lot of time in between meetings, but we're still getting a lot of stuff forward. I've included in it an attachment of all 7 of the projects we are currently working on and their status reports. I'm not gonna go over each one individually. If you have questions on them, please let me know. The only one that I really need to address is the Niche Academy. They charged us an additional $200 for a one-time implementation fee, which I was only approved for $7,800. So we would need to, or I'm sorry, $7,600. So we would need to approve that $200 implementation fee. And on that note, we also need to do another budget amendment because we moved all the money to the revenue item for appropriation from the fund balance. But I thought we could pay for things directly from that, but we can't. We have to move that money to a corresponding line item. So I would like to move the entirety of appropriation from the fund balance to the line item for capital technology. So it'd be $15,300.
Do you have the numbers for those?
I'd have to look at the report, the financial report. I can get those.
Numbers on the financials?
Yeah, you got.
So it would move
you got
from.
all of this?
So it would move from 000,400.100 appropriation from fund balance, and it would move to 790,970.400 capital technology.
And what's the amount?
So 15,000.
That's for the project, that's the amount of the projects that we
Yes.
approved. So 15,900?
300.
300. Thank you. So we need to include those numbers if we are gonna make a motion there. So just to make sure that everybody understands what James is just talking about. So as you know, we all approved last meeting to authorize him to spend $7,600 for the Niche Academy. And when he started to talk to them, they said that there would be a $200 initial setup fee, and so we'd have to approve the extra 200 if we want him to go forward with that. So that would be one motion. And then, the second motion would be, to move, the 15,300 from the fund balance to the, say it one more time.
Capital
Capital
technology.
technologies, line of the budget. And so if anybody would be willing to make either of those motions. be ready
Mark,
for that.
sure.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to move the 15,300 from the appropriation fund balance, for 100.100 to the capital tech at 970.44 or 0.400.
I second.
20 seconds there.
And I'd make a motion to move the extra 200 needed,
That is including the 200.
That's including-
That is including the 200, yes.
so we don't need to.
Oh, so we
So
don't.
it's not.
Okay.
I just kind of threw that out there just to let you guys know about it. If you-
Well,
Okay.
that solves the
Yeah.
one issue, but I think we still need to authorize the
Yes.
200.
Yeah.
So let's do that motion after we vote on this one.
Okay,
So this is large amount of money, so it will be roll call. So Mark,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Tony,
Yes,
Ron,
Yes.
and I am a yes as well, so that passes.
Now I'd like to make the motion required to increase the price from 76 to 78 so we can proceed.
Thank you.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, any further discussion? Okay, let's still do that as a roll call. Mark,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes,
Ron,
Yes.
and I am a yes as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Last month I was asked to add the additional scheduled close days to the list of holiday closings for 2025. That is also attached. It is a secondary page. As of right now, there's only 4 additional closings that I can think of, which is, we're closing on Saturday, potentially closing. They don't have this finalized yet, but, Saturday, June 21st, 2025 for the Cedar Springs Renaissance Fair, but we'll still be open for a book sale like we were last year. Saturday, July 12th for the Cedar Blitz gravel race. It's that big bike race that's gaining a lot of momentum and a lot more popularity. So we'll just be closed that Saturday. And then August 2nd is another Saturday that we're technically open because that'll be the day of our summer reading celebration, our finale. We're moving it from a weekday afternoon to a weekend afternoon. So hopefully more families can attend, especially if you're a working family. And then Saturday, of course, the first Saturday of October for Red Flannel Fest.
and, October 14th, right?
October 4th,
Mhm.
unless that's it. It's whatever the first Saturday of October is.
It should be
Should
earlier
be
than
the-
the 14th, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, the one about the indigent day, or the indigent.
Oh, that,
You
that,
did this.
we're still closed, but that'll be another in-service. I'd like that to be our annual in-service, where every year we do more training and updated things like that.
Have you scheduled the first aid ones yet?
I'm still in the process of that. I've spoken with Rockford Ambulance and the city fire department. And they said that they would reach out to the township fire department, and so they'll get back to me soon, but with this time of year.
People are,
Yeah. So, but I will keep everybody updated when we schedule that.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome our new marketing and communication specialist, Nancy Chandler. She has experience with marketing for another local nonprofit, and she regularly uses the family or the library with her family. She has great ideas so far. I don't know if you've been paying attention to our social media, but basically every post this month has been her. So
You dance well.
thank you. That was her idea. So yeah, we're doing, I can't wait to see what she can bring to the table, and so far I've been happy with what she has. I was told by our E-rate representative that as of right now, the E-rate eligibility for Wi-Fi hotspots is now up in the air. It was a guarantee, but now we don't know. We're still gonna try to get submit our funding request for it for the next year. hoping that it'll just kind of be grandfathered in. However, that might not happen, so we might just have to find room in the budget next year for the extra Wi-Fi hotspots if we want them still.
How many more were you thinking of?
Well, half of the Wi-Fi hotspots that we have checked out are not back, so I need to order at least 5.
Did those 2 Chromebooks ever get,
We're starting to use them more frequently in-house than we are, like somebody will come in and say, can I just use a laptop real quick? And so we'll just check it out to them and they use it while they're in the library.
great.
But I haven't had a lot of people ask to check it out outside the library. So
We
they're
figured,
still being used, but
yeah, we
yeah.
figured it'd be best in-house.
yeah, so far so good.
Because I think all the kids at Cedar Springs get
Yeah,
Chromebooks.
that's, all the schools get Chromebooks but this was just somebody came in, it's like, my laptop died, I just need to, use something real quick, and I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, do you know if Creative Technologies, if they do also do that?
I do not know.
Okay, I'm just curious if you happen to know that.
And then, last Friday, the 13th, we closed early for our annual staff holiday party. We went down to Accidental Art and we made some little trinkets and then we went out to dinner.
Nice.
We're still a pickup location for Cedar Bucks, but I do believe Thursday is the last day for that. That's the last shop late, event that's happening downtown. You can follow a Cedar Springs area Christmas on Facebook for more information. And they're up at the front desk and they're at a first come, first served basis. We didn't really have a lot of programming because we were mostly gearing up for the big Mingle with Kris Kringle on Saturday, December 7th, but it was very successful. We had over 500 people come through the library in one day, 300 in the morning for our specific program, for our Merry Grinchmas program, and then over 200 in the evening after the tree lighting ceremony. I think it's great that we're a part of these community events, and I'd love to do more throughout the
Was
year.
Doug
So.
Santa again?
No, it was Doug's 8th cousin twice removed, wink wink.
Gotcha.
And then I didn't include library usage stats this time because for January, I'm going to do a very comprehensive, very thorough look at the first 6 months of the fiscal year. I am keeping track of door counts, of circulated items, of program attendance, of the number of items we have, our circulation stats. I'm gonna do the whole thing, and this is gonna coincide with the state aid report that I'm filling out as we speak.
And
A good time to do it.
I forget if this is your plan or not, and so this is just a question. Is that the time that you'll also, give your, yearly update to the 2 municipalities?
Yes, I will do it here, and then I will schedule a time to go to the city and the townships board meetings and do the same thing.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
And then, this is not in my report, but I just included it in the packet. I have the list of dates for our 2025 schedule of board meetings.
Yeah.
So.
Which we approved in July.
Yeah, it's just an extra reminder. One other question I have for you has to do with, last time we talked about that your current plan is if school is canceled because of weather, the library will be canceled.
Yes.
Which is fine. The only question I have is just due to experience that I had personally in my job, that we actually were busy during one of those days, because the roads improved greatly
Yeah.
during the day.
Yeah.
And so I just asked the question of, would it be helpful at all to have, some flexibility like that?
Well, we were closed Thursday, the 12th, but we still held our little event after hours for the Young Fives classrooms.
Yeah,
We were I was just talking it over with staff to kind of ask them their thoughts on it. And yeah, because you're right, at 10 like, they cancel at school at like 5, 6 in the morning when the roads are pretty bad, but then at 10 AM, when they've actually had a chance to plow them, things change, so we decided it'll have to be case by case.
Yeah, that's,
Unfortunately, because I live in Plainfield, I'll leave it up to people that live out here.
Yeah.
They'll let me know how the
The
roads.
big thing out here is, in town, the streets may be fine. But you
Yeah.
get outside of town and you
Yeah.
can't even get
And
through.
that's one of the reasons why we decided to, if schools closed, we're closed, because we were taking into consideration the background.
yeah, of course.
But, yeah, like Thursday was the perfect example. Like, the schools even they didn't cancel their after-school programs, and so we're like, well, if they're gonna still have after-school programs, we can still have our programs, so that's why we decided to.
Yeah, and that's, none of that is criticism, it's just, it was the first time that I had thought of that. It's,
Yeah, and,
you know, it could be a great day.
and being honest, and throwing the ideas around,
Yeah,
sounds great.
yeah,
In practice,
of course, it
might need
depends,
to.
it depends on the day, of course, yeah.
It's hard to call sometimes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Of course, part of my role is before we decide what we're gonna do, you know,
Mhm.
I'm like old school superintendent driving around. To see what the roads are like.
Well, unfortunately, I'm right up the belt line,
I
and so.
totally get the difference, and I'm far away from where most of our people are, so I have to
I
drive.
I live over in Cedar Field, right next to Myers.
Yeah.
You ain't getting out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
I got one question for you.
yes.
On the website program, did you have the meeting on
I had
Wednesday or
it-
Thursday?
On Wednesday, right after I had sent out the director's report. And that initial meeting was very exciting because it was just this is what we're doing, this is our timeline, and they predict we can have everything up and running in 3 months. I was just I was talking before the meeting, I was talking about like all the functionality of the new website. They told me to think of it as a 24/7 employee. With the amount of information and functionality that we can include on it, we can integrate program signups, we can integrate calendars, we can integrate other things, but the biggest thing is because they only work with local government entities, they have a bucket list of everything that we have to have on our website. And if we don't post that, they send us reminders saying like, hey, this month's meeting minutes have to be up, or hey, don't forget to post the monthly financial report, so. I'm really excited, I hope
Have
that
you,
we're doing it.
By any chance taking a look at the Solon Township website? They have it structured for minutes and everything else, really nice.
Yeah, I looked at several local governments, but I mostly focused on libraries, and the reason why I went with this one was because another library spoke so highly of it, and after this first meeting, I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I see why.
So the meeting was on Wednesday, the 11th, not the 12th.
On the 11th, yes, did I put the 15th?
No, you put, Wednesday, the 12th.
I did.
Just
It
to
was
let
the
you
11th.
know, I do read it.
It was on the 11th.
Anything else for James? All right, thank you so much. And I think, I don't have a lot of pressing things under my report this week or this month. So I think it's clear at this point that Heidi's not coming tonight, so if somebody does want to make a motion to.
I'll make
excuse
a
her.
motion that she be excused.
Okay. Thank you. Michelle. Any discussion about that? All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. Thank you so much. I'll follow up with her, I bet she is thinking that it's not this week. Because of the different week.
Yeah, a little early this month, aren't we?
And then I don't believe that any of the committees met, however, just wanted to give a chance for Mark. If you wanted to talk at all about any of the finance issues or anything like that, or if anybody's.
I know I emailed out one thing, we're gonna talk about that. I got some great responses, thank you all for that, like, for the help with the direction on that one. I've met with James, I think twice to sign checks so far, so we're getting that under rolling, like learning what everything is, and who people are for us as a library, so that was pretty sweet.
Do we need to make a motion about that pension fund?
Not yet, I wanna have I'd like to have a discussion about it, I think, is to see what we wanna kind of do with it and what's happening. I did talk to Emily at the city, and she said it was in Cammy's contract, or her offer was just this pension line that kind of just rolled over, so.
Yeah.
And talking to her, I verified with her, I think like 7 times, so we can do whatever we want with this money. Like, it's not earmarked or government protected or anything on that end, so yeah, she said you can move it to a fund, you can pay from that fund, whatever you wanna do with it, just let her know.
Should we
Don't
give
make
it
it
to Cammy?
Hmm?
Should we give it to Cammy? It's part of her contract.
It was.
You just set aside
it
if
was
she
part
went
of-
into the pension fund.
When she was employed, it was a yearly contribution. It's not like a indefinite. It's not like it was a amount of money that was held there for her.
Mhm.
So. So I would say she's not due it in any way.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
I did have a couple of questions I gave Mark about the checks that were apparently not routine. And he approved them, so I thought we would maybe touch base on some of those.
Yeah, I'll get on some of these ones, like, I know some of them, I know the Baker Taylor was library content. Land, the Turfs R Us is the land, and I have to look at a couple other ones that I don't remember, like, I know we talked about, 'em. James explains each check to me as I go through, I'm like, okay, that's cool, a lot of it's content, and a lot of it's things that I just don't know all of it yet.
If anybody has any questions now, I could address them if you'd like.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, like I have, I put on what I have for my knowledge, I think.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, the Foster Swift is the new lawyer. So that was how much they charged me for that telephone conversation for what we're gonna go into closed session and talk about. Nancy Krabs, that was a refund check. She gave us $100 to, she rented out the community room, but then she had to cancel after she had paid us, so we gave her back her money. That's why I was coming from miscellaneous, because that's where the money goes, is
Yeah.
miscellaneous. Turfs R Us is the land, or the lawn care. Unique Management, that is our, that is the collection agency. And we pay them out, I think, I wanna say I thought it was bi-monthly, but somebody told me it was monthly. But that is that's their flat fee for the collection services.
Yeah.
Why do we have a collection service?
That's just through Lakeland.
They require
Well,
No,
because if we're fine free, but if you don't return the books or the materials after a certain amount of time, we charge you the replacement fees for those. And if you ignore those, then it goes to collections.
it? Gotcha.
And then Elon Financial Services is our credit card. And we spent a lot on the programming for we had to buy a lot of new decorations and stuff like that. And then, yeah, Baker Taylor is where we get books.
You don't get them?
That would be a conflict of interest.
That could be a problem.
Sometimes we get them from Amazon, but we mostly get them from Baker and Taylor.
Transparency. Yeah, definitely.
Is there any other issue? Did I include, because I was looking, if I know I gave out a list of vendors that we usually work with. And I did say I would mention, if you notice a name on there, I would mention it. But Nancy Krabs, I didn't think about because it wasn't a program presenter we were paying. This was just a refund check we were issuing, so that was my fault. But is our credit card service on that list?
I don't see it.
I don't think.
Cause I can add it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Send another copy of
I
that
can do
list.
that. And maybe I'll look at and see how often I put unique charges us, and I'll update that to be more accurate, so.
Yep.
Okay.
The only other question I have is the one we've had before about, on the bank statements, you had EFTs.
Yeah,
And there's an awful lot of them on there.
they're mostly,
It's like for me. like,
Yeah.
a couple,
Deposits and
a
stuff.
couple of the vendors would
Yeah.
probably require that.
Yeah, it's mostly Amazon, mostly,
Yep.
stuff that we pay for usually with our credit card.
Yeah.
So where do the employees' checks or EFT show up?
That is through the city's payroll, because they're the ones that process our payroll right now.
And they take the money out of the library fund, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Did you want to see individual employees or
pardon?
did you want to see individual employee pay or?
Well, I thought maybe some of these EFTs would be if they were, doing a direct deposit or something. I didn't know the city was running them through their payroll department,
Yeah,
because they're not city employees.
yeah,
Oh,
that's been
absolutely.
happening for years.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I understood they did that for us.
Yes.
So we didn't have
As
to.
part of our free accounting services.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, anything
Thank
else
you.
there? Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mike.
That takes us to our first opportunity for public comment. Any citizen that wishes to address the library board on a topic will be recognized and limit their comments to 2 minutes, please. The board will not respond to or discuss public comments at this time. So anybody that wants to address us?
No, I just say it's good to be back and I missed all of you and it's just so good to see you at your jobs and to just see things moving forward and it just feels like home. It's good to have you around the table and Merry Christmas to all of you. May you have a wonderful new year. May it be a wonderful and prosperous new year for the library, as it obviously has been for these years. I'm just really proud of you all. And I thank our director here for, carrying the load and getting caught up with all the different, people that we work with and how it all works together. And just thank you for your diligence and your love for our community.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Any other public comment before we move on? Okay. All right, we're gonna go on to ongoing business, and new business. And one of the things, that, is part of that, is that we will tonight be going into, entertaining a motion to go into closed session. Before we do that, I just want to read one little part, so that we haven't done this in a real long time, so just want to make sure we do it all proper. Let's see. So for this part, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this will be a roll call vote and it will require a 2/3 majority to go into closed session. And then there is a specific process for how the motion should be formatted. And so I just wanted to read this out loud from the most current OMA guidelines, so that everybody understands before we start having to amend and all of that kind of thing after it's.
Can I go ahead and say motion as read by the chair?
This gives a guideline, so you'll have to craft it to our specific situation. Okay, so, the motion, to go into closed session should cite one or more of the permissible purposes listed in section 8, of the Open Meetings Act. An example of a motion could be, I move that the board meet in closed session under section 8E of the Open Meetings Act to consult with our attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with blah, blah, blah. So in our situation, the part of the Open Meetings Act, that we will be, able to go into closed session for, is to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. But note the board, cannot simply go into closed session if this were an oral opinion given to us, since this is a written, legal opinion, we are able to do so. So that should be included in the motion. Okay? There is some, language here in the, agenda as well, that will help to create that motion. So, I will ask one of you to please make the motion to, go into closed session at this time.
I think the motion that we go into closed session under section 8, part E, where it talks about a written opinion from an attorney. Anything more?
And that it is to consider attorney-client privilege documents, material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute, MCL 15.268H would be the additional part to that.
Thank you, Chair.
Would you care to add that? To your motion?
Yes.
Done. Thank you.
All right, so this motion would need a second, of course.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ron. All right, so this is a roll call vote. As I said, is there any discussion before we take a vote? Seeing none, Mark?
Are you want us to step out, or are you guys gonna go into the other room?
We're gonna go into a different room.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. So at this time we will be in closed session and we will be back.
7:34.
Yeah, that's a note. 7:30.
Yep.
They're like, just run off. Forget everybody.
You get what you need to get. Now you make that.
Something like a cookie, did you?
Yes, I do. All right, I can get one now. The cake mix cookie, I like. There was 2 recipes, I like this one the best, because I had fresh lemon juice and lemon zest in it. And I used butter instead of oil. Did you guys go on vacation or something? Oh, well, we used to live on this for almost 13 years. Oh, wow. That's from age 2000, we came back here. This thing says, I turned 50. We got a phone call and said, "Bill, asking if we could come pay me." We were considering coming back, but we won't go on another job, and there it is. Out of the blue. So, and now we go back every now and then, not that much really, but now that we're retired, we can, that's really good. I think maybe it's 6 months last year. We're gonna do 3 months this year. Next year, I think we're planning to go. There's a huge archaeology thing there, and that's what we're doing. I took care of 34 people, archaeologists that came to dig. Yeah. And, you know, did all the housing and helping them with the cooking and cleaning and giving, you know, like 9 toilets. You have to just make sure everything's clean and hungry. You poor thing. No, I can't explain it, but I enjoy it. Yeah. I just enjoy being there. And there are busloads of people that come in now, they know about this site, it's becoming very popular, you know, and will know about it. But they'll bring busloads of tourists that are visiting Israel and around, and they'll come in and they get out and they go to the bathroom, they go up on the hotel, which is way, it was when we first went in '88, it was just a big fountain. And then they've been excavating. This year, they got down to bedrock. So there are no more settlement, no more civilizations that are on top of each other. They just build on top of it. Yeah. And so it's fascinating. It's just fascinating. All the people that come, there are a lot of older people too, people that my age and maybe older. They're still strong and they just get out there and they dig, or they brush off the rocks, or it's just, I was just so crazy. And I used to teach English there when I lived there. And so my friends who took over the English asked me if I would come and volunteer and just help kids on the side and just be there. So I did that too. Please. It was hard to juggle all of it. I had to catch the school bus and go like I used to. It was. Labor of love, so fun. Kids are, I mean, they're naughty. They talk out loud and they're really not very polite to their teachers. And I just stand, I'd be at the front looking around, so I would go to different ones that needed me, and then I just, kind of give them the eye, and then I would go like, or just look at them like I'm just kind of disappointed, and then like, but anyway, they loved me and I loved them back. Look at that.
I know, it's like, oh, I've got black and with a powdered sugar.
It's just stuff like that, going to the supermarket, every farming community, there are like 5 of them that go from down to a lot. They're just big open spaces that people have come in and they start, they're farming. And now they're so sophisticated and they have these big, huge solar panels, acres of them.
So being so far out of the city, you guys don't have any hands-on?
No, we're just in the middle of nowhere. And every farming community is like Cedar Springs. It's just a community. People help each other. They have a little store, a little. Look at me. You're on.
Wait till you're done, then brush.
Yeah, that's it. So when we were there, we lived on the archaeology site in the beginning. Then after a year and a half, after Tamar was born in '95, another moshav asked us, well, we went to across the street to Edon, which was another moshav, and then one down the road toward Elot, they wanted Dan to come and be their fix-it guy and their gardener, of course. And so they gave him more, said, we'll give you more money, please come here. And so we went. So we've lived in 3 different places there, and I taught school, so we'd have parent-teacher things, and so everybody knows me and I know them and their kids, and now I'm teaching the kids of the kids I taught. It's amazing. And it was,
So Dan was doing,
Dan took care of this 55 acres.
okay.
And when the diggers were there, he had this, I have pictures that are this, he had a coyote tractor, this big thing that would have the scoop. So when they were digging and sifting and see what they had, if they found anything, then they would have people that would scoop it, all the dirt up and carry it up to a certain place. And then Dan would come up a hill, scoop down, pick up the dirt, go down the hill and take it off to another place and dump it. And over and over again, clearing away all that dirt. So you could see the archaeology that they found. And he loved doing it.
Sure.
Yeah, we lost electricity once and we went out and fixed that. And then the sewer wasn't working after all these people were there. So he had to go out and dig up the sewer and redo all of that. I mean, that's a nasty job.
Yeah.
And then the hot water heaters weren't working, so I had to figure out what's wrong with the hot water heaters. And they're just, and there are 640 trees there. And Dan has to take care of all of them. He has stations that run these, he calls them section 1 and 2 and 3. And he waters them at different times so that they automatically turn on and off, or he has to turn them on and off. And so he's taking care of all these trees, and they're date trees, a lot of them. And that means that when their leaves go down like that, you're supposed to prune them. So then he has, that it's never ending. And there are people there, I mean, now with the COVID and now with the war, people don't, the people that used to come, they came from all over the world. And they would come there and they would pay their own way and they would come there to stay and work. I mean, if they worked 6 hours a day, they had almost, I mean, their food bill or their staying there was, they had much reduced rates.
Isn't that what the Jewish families do? Every family member has to go to Israel at least once and do one of those. It's like a sabbatical or something, you know?
Well, they do. And then the children, when they graduate, they have 1 year before they have to go into the army. And that year, a lot of them travel, but they also have, special, assignments. So I know two people that are going to see my 88-year-old friend in Afula. She's in a nursing home, so one of their assignments is to visit her. And then I noticed that there were 2 girl soldiers that there's this from the main road over here down to where we are. They had a little table and a thing with net over it so they wouldn't burn in the sun. And when people would come down that road, people hardly ever did because we're the only ones down there basically in one other family. But their job was to talk to them and ask them, you know, what they're doing and why they're coming in. And so that's a part of their training. And one day, Dan and I looked out and we were outside doing some work around the place where we stay. And 6 soldiers, young soldier guys came up, all in uniform, with their guns over their shoulders, like they were on assignment. And I just looked at them and said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, our assignment is to walk on foot for miles through the desert and meet the people in each of the settlements and get to know them and to, I guess it's like a sensitivity training or something where it's like, you know, who are,
Get to know your people.
you know, who the people are, you know, and it makes a strong community. And just to say, I know that it looks really bad, but there has been times and the people, even a lot of the people in Gaza, or a lot of it's political, where the political people are, you know, it's not the common people necessarily. They're the ones that are exposed to all of this stuff. And it's a lot military and who owns what and how do you building, making tunnels under hospitals and people's private residences, and because everybody in danger. And right now there's a Druze village that is asking Israel to take them in and protect them from the soldier people out here who are taking advantage of them or taking their food.
Sure.
there's so much corruption, it's hard to just say where's the guilt, and I'm not saying that there's not corruption everywhere. You know, because even the Israeli people, a lot of them don't like Netanyahu. I mean, there are just so many clashes and so many, it's very difficult. Actually, the desert is the best place to live because those people, their children are on the school bus. School bus just picks them up, takes them to school, takes them home. They all know each other. The mothers and grandmothers are teaching school or going back and getting degrees to come and teach the school at the school. They're managing each other and they know each other, and their children now are growing up and marrying their friends that they were in their school class. Sure. And it's all their serious. Yeah, you know what? It works.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good.
Yeah, but they might leave, I mean, a lot of them are around,
It's Sarah,
some are in Chicago and New York and Florida, you know, but they still go home.
Yeah, I grew up in Sarah.
So that's just the east, isn't it? Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's between Magnolia and Bowl.
Okay. I can tell you, there's a lady that I taught English with, and something happened in her mind. I don't know if it's an ischemic attack, or what it is. But she knows what she's saying. She has gone back to school and become an attorney. She helps her husband run a business. And she taught English for years. I taught with her. And when she tries to talk, the words don't come out right, but she knows what she's saying and she can write it. So I got to see her but I can tell you this, her husband has to be in the fields 5 hours, at least, I think it's 3 or 4 days a week. And the women in the moshav are the neighbors. And they take like a village, a farming community. And they take turns going and sitting with her and taking care of her while her husband's in the field. It's not really dementia because she's locked up inside of her. I have a picture of her. Yeah. And I don't think it's exactly a stroke. I'm going to her tomorrow for my doctor's appointment, but I don't know. Well, I'll just spray it a little bit here and there you go. Wear my coat. She can't see what I'm wearing. Yeah, but ischemia. How long has she been like that? Just before he left, I had one day. And my desire was to see her and hold her hand and hug her. That was my desire. So I worked it out with Leora that she's another teacher. She's a teacher that invited me to come and volunteer. And I said, I really want to see her. And she said, well, her husband is screening everyone. He's taking care of her, that whoever comes, he knows who it is, he knows what's going on, he knows what, they have arrangements, it's all worked out. She said, well, I will come and I will meet you at the entry of so far, which that's the last place that we live. So we were neighbors with these babies. And actually, I cleaned her house for a while and she had a son the age of tomorrow and they were about this high.
She always had ischemia, or did it just come on sudden?
Just suddenly now. So, that was my desire. So I went there and then my friend called and said, I can't make it. And I don't know if Yehuda wants, he doesn't think that she's up to having anybody. I said, okay, well, I'm sitting here waiting for you. I'm there. And so I don't have to see her. It's okay. So I just sat in my car and here around the corner, being pushed in a wheelchair by a handsome man. They were like from here. So that chair right there from me. And I thought, I'm gonna get out of the car and I'm gonna walk over to her. And if she recognizes, if it is her, I will know. So I got up and I walked up and I bent over. And then I was pretty sure. And I said, well, I think that's Spia. And she looked at me. And the guy there, said, Donna? No, I said, and this must be a family member. He says, oh, I love this. And he says, Donna, it's me, Ben. He's the guy. Oh, that was ages. He said, I remember the fun tomorrow night had, you know, some of the games that we played while I was cleaning house. And she's from South Africa, so she needed a house. I said, I'll clean house for her. She said, no, you can't. That's what servants did. They had servants in South Africa. They did. And I loved doing it, hanging out, and I didn't have anything. I was, you know, I could have Tamara there, and she could play with Ben, and we're good friends. I mean, I didn't think anything about it. But, it's been, I have to show you the picture. You will just, it's amazing. Here goes Spia. Okay, I know I sent a copy of it to Tamar so she could see Ben. And she has 7 granddaughters. And now her son Ben, the last one, just got married, and he's Tamar's age, like 29. And he had a son, just had a son like a couple of days old. Okay, Tamar, where are our texts here? Close, let's see, Tamar. It's fast if I can just, pull up the picture I sent her. Well, all these, I just don't know where all this is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's Ben. Yeah. And oh, that's here. I must not have done it. Okay, well, I have it on my.
It's on the name, but usually will give you
I
out.
will go to photos. Here. No, that's not on the photos, because this one, I'm on the
That's the
last
right
one.
one,
Yeah,
right?
here we go. Here we are. Aw, she really is a beautiful woman, but you can just tell that she's just struggling, and she had her hat on, she took her hat off. Dan,
I know, that's what I noticed.
yeah. Dan planted a lot of these. I can show you one that Dan planted when we were at Edon in 1993, 4 and 5. And it's ginormous, and it was just a plant. And so we have, let me see, I think.
So is Dan still there? Is he back?
He came back with me. Yeah, we went together. Right, we're celebrating our birthdays. We're in December, Ricky and. Let's see. I don't know if I sent them that picture. Let's see.
How much does it cost for round trip back and forth to Israel?
Well, it depends on what's going on.
Sure.
It was about $5,000 for both of us, round trip. We almost didn't get in. I mean, they weren't running anybody much, but that's a kind of a picture of the tell. It goes up. This is the dig. Yeah, you go up these steps and you go up. But this is like in the evening, one evening. And Dan has put in all these lights around. It's 55 acres. I mean, it's massive. Let's see if I can Oh, that's a picture. This is my son when he was considering suicide. He was very bad off.
Yeah.
When we came from Israel, he really never fit in here. And this is my son now. He's
So
from-
he lives here.
No, he lives in Oklahoma.
Okay.
He went through rehab and, and Oklahoma State University had a program where they took people that were recovering and they told them if they would come and do the program and make good grades, they would give them a laptop, a free education, food, and support and counselors. And he was very successful.
How many years did it take?
It took him a year and it's been 2 years. But he's not in rehab now, but he's been very successful. But he helps other people. I think these other students are still in. Then there was a businessman in town, fashion business. And he went to the guys and he said, if you will finish the program, I personally will make you a suit. So you can go out and get a job and be successful.
Is he as tall as he looks in that?
He is tall. He's this much taller than I am
Okay.
and Dan.
You're very tall.
He is. And you know what? He's never had anything really that really fit him.
Oh, I'm sure.
And when he got that suit, it's like the world, it's like who he really is and what he can do and how he can take charge of things. And he's still in the program. He's in it 2 years now. And he's so dedicated to it that, the doors are opening all over. There was a nonprofit called Godspeed, and they would find somebody that was deserving and they would give them a car. Guess who got a car? And Josh is a mechanic also. So it wasn't a brand new car. It was a nice car that had been used and they refurbished them and then give them away. And he got that. And recently, he was doing so well, they're noticing, and he's gone into the community. And he signs up for things like, like you would do in Cedar Springs, like you're going to be at this table and they're doing a fundraiser to help children or to help whatever good deed, whatever good thing it is. He's there and he runs a booth for them and they.
I'll just call him.
He's found himself and he's a writer. You found out. that
Is he a writer?
He's a writer and he found out that he loves psychology and would probably go into counseling. That picture you saw of him, I sent it to him because it's one that I took when he lived with my mother for 1 year. And she needed constant care and he took care of her for a whole year. But he was still trying, he would go to in the community there, they had some things that you could go to, like we have in Cedar Springs, but never really got a hold of it. And he was still cheating behind my mother's back, but my mother was sharp and she said, I smell cigarettes. I'm allergic to cigarettes.
Did he drink too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were some drugs too, I'm sure. He really, that picture was the worst. And I sent it to him. And I said, Josh, someday you'll write about your life. And this is one of the pictures you can put in about how bad it got. That was pretty bad.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it
glad
is
for
just
you.
wonderful. And
I'm glad he's doing better.
he really is helping himself. He's really helping others. And he says, I said, Josh, I know it's really hard, like the holidays and stuff is really depressing. That's when he would just like almost die. Because, he has one daughter. He's divorced, the terrible marriage all the way around, not just him. There are other men and it's just a way of I can't explain. But anyway, it was really bad. And he just, the holidays, he would just freak out. And I just said, how's it going? He says, Mom, I'm fine. I have a very good community around me. I have good resources. I have good people. And that's,
You got the right kind of therapy. That's huge, to find the right kind of therapy, and getting the right diagnosis. That's huge.
and he lived there. It was Salvation Army. And our friend that we have known forever, he raises money for Salvation Army. I mean, can you believe it? In Oklahoma City. And he knows my mom.
Out in Oklahoma with the tornadoes and everything.
Yeah. So he came and, he helped Josh get in that program, and Josh, you live there, you eat there, they give you jobs to do, you have counseling, they teach you how to do your money, so you're not always broke or wasting yourself and your money. And, he worked at their Salvation Army place and, started picking up clothes, you know, that would be helping look decent. I mean, he was so down and out, he wouldn't even, I could have hard to recognize him.
When you get to that state of depression, it's hard to do personal care. Personal care.
Oh, no, it's so bad. Was this hard? I went back and forth to Oklahoma quite a bit. No, I mean, I still had my job here.
Did they find the right medication for him? Is that no medication about?
I don't know if he's on medication. I don't know all the kind of programs. But our friend was, he's such a great man that he made sure Josh was okay. He saw him often. He encouraged him. And Josh, and introduced him to a wonderful pastor. And they would go and pick him up to come to church every week. And if they were handing out food to needy people, that he would help them with that. I mean, he was,
It's funny how just that one suit is what made that button click. You never
the
know.
final button.
Yeah, you never know what that button is gonna be. That helps you get to where you need to be.
That picture is really good, but there is, okay, so he became the president of the chess club at the college.
Oh, how cool.
Oh, I'm just amazed. Oh, I know, I sent that picture to some of my friends, to Rena, I think. And so that'd be, you know, but yeah, here, this is his favorite picture that he had. And the lady in the lunchroom came to him and said, Josh, when I'm not working here, I'm a professional photographer. I will take 4 pictures of you. That's one.
That's so good.
And yeah, look, you can see how tall he is. There's that one. And then here's this one. That's a really good picture. You know what? He contacted the guy that gave him this, and he said, I showed him and sent him these pictures. God sent this testimony. And with my students, we might be able to do something together. A male model?
Yeah, you can do that. You should see some of Dom's senior pictures. Oh my goodness. Find them here. Yeah. Senior this year. And he's going up to school next, in the fall, and I went to Michigan Tech is where he's staying there.
So, this, love this. It's his favorite, it's his Facebook page.
No, there's not. Want me to grab them?
They're out there.
Yeah, they're staying out.
Motion that we return to open session.
Second.
That was the second one by
Me or Mark?
Yeah. We're on the same way. It's good.
I know.
Cool. Thank you. We're gonna ruin that. I'm so toasty.
All right, any discussion on that motion? We'll go ahead and do this as a roll call also, so Mark,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Ron,
yes.
and I'm a yes as well.
Okay, back into regular session.
Let's see, are there any new business for the director?
Yeah, keep dancing.
You know what, I'm gonna tell you that our social media people follow your social media person, and so I had to do the
Love Actually thing too.
not the dance part yet, but I had to do the other one where you are the male manager of a whole team.
Oh.
People, and they put a tiara on my head and everything, so thanks a lot.
Anytime.
It is a personal request as a board member that you've been putting on some amazing workshops and helping people in a lot of different areas, okay? Even the estate planning thing. And I'm wondering if you would think about possibly anything under rental laws, rental laws and a workshop like that, that might be open to the people to come in and understand what they are and responsibilities, get the state booklet, whatever. So there's that, and then I'll wait for the next.
Gotta be careful about crossing into the law.
Well, what we would do is that wouldn't be a library. I would just kind of reach out to somebody who is familiar with that and kind of offer our space to rent. And then that's out of our hands. They paid for it, they can do whatever they want, but I will keep an eye out for more, because that's what the estate planning was. It wasn't our program that we ran, they just rented out our space.
Okay.
So I'll do a better job of reaching out to local businesses to see if they want to do more.
But maybe there's an online.
You can encourage that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else? No?
I will say that our rental room is booked for the rest of this month and mostly for January right now. So, yeah,
That is absolutely great.
it's a great community resource.
Does anybody have any agenda items that they want to make sure are included in our next meeting? Of course, we will be looking at the budget yet again to prepare for the process of getting our budget approved for next year to go to the city. So that will be starting next month.
I do have a request for that.
Okay.
The library in Michigan was provided.
Yeah.
And the public library financial management guide, which to me is outstanding. I think we should have a copy of chapter 6 regarding budgeting, just furnished to all of us to look over for that meeting.
Does everybody not have the hard copy of, because I thought everybody had a hard copy.
Yeah, I have.
We all got it.
Okay,
Yeah, we handed those up. Do you have one?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
this is the blue, there's the maroon one and the blue one. Does everybody have a copy of the blue one?
It looks like
I
Michelle's
do.
got it.
Yeah, I got the
Do
book.
you have one, John?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so.
If everyone has it,
Yeah.
then I guess
So review
Yeah,
chapter 6.
So,
for the topic, I guess I'm just asking if we review chapter 6 part of the project.
thank you.
Now, question on that. Mark's gonna be running this along with the director?
I can meet with Mark and, well, in early January, I wanted to meet with a couple of the committees, namely the Personnel Committee and the Finance Committee, to kind of show you the budget that I've been working on, so that way we can present it to the board. And then the Personnel Committee, because of the ESTA law that is up in the air right now, but
There's new paid time off.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sick leave and all that
Yeah.
other
So,
stuff.
so those are the two meetings I'd like to hold early in January before the next board meeting or two, yeah,
Yep.
And so, yeah,
Yep, and then, those of course will be published ahead of time and all of that,
Yeah.
so,
Also, the, technology budget that we voted on and approved last April should be included as part of that.
the priorities.
No, we did a 3-year budget.
I-
for the
yeah,
technology.
yes.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? On anybody's mind?
the, Michigan Library Association
Uh-huh.
had a wonderful Zoom meeting on, library law and stuff. And if you guys can get a chance to go to their website and view it, it was really informative.
That was a MLA Zoom.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and then if anything, comes up for you between now and 2 Mondays prior to our meeting, you can send it along. But that is the deadline to get them to us to get into the agenda.
You're gonna hold it to that, aren't you?
You better, you will.
I am doing my best.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay. Any others? Okay. And then, of course, we talked about this already, but there are informational items that were included with the agenda, which include the 2025 holiday closing dates, as well as the schedule of 2025 library board meetings. Those are the informational items for this month. We now, it is the time for our second public comment. If anyone wishes to address us.
I can't tell you how grateful I am that you guys are on the library board. And I'm so impressed with the professional and intelligent way you're running it. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Not only for myself, but for our community as a whole. And there's the owl.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, then we move on to board comments and I'll just start with Mark and we'll work our way around.
I wanna thank the staff, like every time I come in here, it's awesome. I know I'm coming in even more often to sign stuff, but I'm thankful for you guys and the day-to-day running of it. I know there's a lot behind the scenes, and I know that James is doing a lot, so I'm very thankful for that, to help grow the library. I want to thank the board. I know I sent out the message about the pension. I got a lot of great comment back. That kind of put me on the direction of where they need to go. I was very thankful that like, as I'm learning this, like there's the knowledge base to tap into and the resources within the board itself, instead of having to go externally. Even with names and contacts within the city or names contact if something comes up with solar or anything like that, like I know it's here.
Yeah.
And those supports are here. So to keep those supports inward with us and then leading you guys to the skills. Well, thankful for that.
I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I think we got a very good board here that, is making some good progress. I think James has got a lot of things in the works, and that's a good thing.
We are a team. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's and Happy Hanukkah coming up. Thank you.
When an organization starts to come together and it just, the oil and the gears and it just begins to move so nice and smoothly and everything, it's almost like you say, and what about, and it's already happening. And I got that feeling, okay, James, and obviously you're a big part of making that happen. So 2025 for me is, I'm really hoping, no, I'm expecting to kind of sit back and watch this thing just go. And that'll be a wonderful feeling. Wanted to make sure I shared that.
I'll just say, you know, it's a privilege to be part of this group, and I thank everybody for all the work that goes into making these meetings happen properly, and it's appreciated. As we all knew when we signed up for this, we have a wonderful resource here, and it's a big responsibility to steward it in an ongoing way. And I appreciate that everybody has that mindset about it. That makes a big difference, because if we're all committed to the same thing, we can agree and on things, and also where we need to adjust or whatever, it's all done from a cooperative standpoint, and that is nice. If anybody happens to be the type of person that likes to write to politicians, I would encourage you to write to your state senator and talk to them about the importance of the Freedom to Read Act. And that is the most political thing I'll ever say. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Is anybody ever gonna really oppose the